can begin, and as usual, good morning to you, countrymen and women. Cornelius Mweetwa here, Upnd party spokesperson, live from Mkushi North, where I'm franked with the presence of Honorable Sidney Chisanga, of course, aspiring Member of Parliament for Mkushi South, and his counterpart for Mkushi North is in the field where we are going to find him working for the project for which we are here for. And of course, my brother here, Mr. Sambwa. To you colleagues from the media, good morning and welcome to this briefing, which we are holding for the first time for me here in Mkushi. Today we have few issues we would like to highlight to the nation, for the nation to know the position of the Upnd Alliance on issues that the nation expects us to comment on. We will begin number one. Let me just say we have today, it will be a short briefing. We have just 4 issues we'll be talking about. Number one, we'll be talking about the state of the Upnd Alliance campaigns. Number 2, we'll be talking about the redundancies that are expected to take place at the University of Zambia. We'll also be talking about PF's certainty for losing this forthcoming general elections. And then finally, we'll be talking about the deployment of soldiers on the streets of Zambia to maintain peace and order, to help Zambia police maintain law and order in the country. So there we go. Number one, would like to report that the Upnd Alliance campaigns are going on very well. As you can see, I'm one of the personnel who have been deployed across the country to come and get first-hand information of how this particular campaign is going. And for me, like we reported yesterday, the campaign is going on very well. And like we've insisted, this campaign will be anchored by the individual Zambians, those who have undergone a lot of suffering in the last 5 years, and those who want a better Zambia going forward. To our aspiring candidates, like Honorable Chisanga here, and many across the country, I think the party right now is looking at you with a lot of envy that by and large you were the right candidates, because you've anchored this campaign in a manner maybe many did not anticipate. We didn't anticipate this COVID situation, that it would come into play to plague not just the health of the nation and its people, but also to plague this campaign, in which case we found that the Patriotic Front are taking advantage of the COVID pandemic now to bring in politics to try and limit the movements of the leadership of the Upnd Alliance, particularly Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, because each time he ventures out, there is pandemonium out there. There's a lot of excitement. He attracts huge crowds that the current president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, is unable to attract, and therefore begin to sanction that he should not move around, like we saw Police Inspector General state that he was banning distribution of face masks. We know that that was because the crowds HH is attracting is instilling fear. But there is nothing to fear. This is what happens when Zambians want change. It is coming, courtesy of the people of Zambia, 12th August 2021. So the campaign is going on very well. The running mate, Honorable Narumango, she's running, traversing this country. HH made to understand, even with the restrictions being placed, is using whatever means available to himself to reach out to the people. And therefore want to ask all those charged with responsibility to oversee this campaign, to stretch themselves further. We're just remaining with 11, is something like 11 days. The campaign is on schedule. So let us continue doing what we have been doing. But above all, the most important campaign managers we have in this election are not party officials. They are not candidates. It's the individual Zambians who believe in a better Zambia when we have a decent leadership. Now, today we wanted to talk about the following issues in greater detail, but we will summarize because of time. We have to go in the field and inspect what is going on. We have been informed as UPND Alliance that presently the University of Zambia is faced with an acute shortage of funds. The University of Zambia is in a financial crisis that has led to the university management make a decision to downsize the workforce of its staff by almost 50% by a letter dated 23rd July 2021. This situation is worrisome because this decision comes at a time when many people out there are not employed. So to begin to have redundancies of people who are among the few that are in formal employment is worrying. And the workers of the University of Zambia have asked the UPND Alliance to take note of this, and that once it comes into power, this decision to downsize the workforce of the University of Zambia by almost 50% due to financial difficulties should be reversed, because there is plenty of money out there which is being wasted. For instance, in last year's budget and the last 2 years, Zambia Police alone, in terms of funding for equipment and other security services, they have been allocated 11.7 billion kwacha, compared to other sectors of importance. For instance, agriculture has only gotten 8.1, the social security sector 3.1. So these monies that are being wasted, where you get 11.7 billion to go and buy tear gas, to go and buy armored vehicles for Zambia Police, as if we have, a militia crisis in the country, or we have border concerns crisis, is uncalled for. This is the money that should have been used prudently to avert situations like this, where now you have employees of the University of Zambia going to lose employment, while we have heaps and heaps of tear gas smoke being kept by Zambia Police, which is of no use, because we are peaceful, people. We are an armed people. We love peace, except that the Patriotic Front have been trying to be provocative to try and see if Zambians can get into a mood of disorder so that they can flex their muscle through the Zambia Police. It is uncalled for. So we ask the government that, since government is a going concern, in the remaining few days that they are in office, can they intervene and ensure that that decision of downsizing the workforce of the University of Zambia is reversed? Because if they don't do that, that's one of the things the UPND Alliance leadership of HH is coming to do. Issue number 2 or number 3, we have been reliably informed that the Patriotic Front are now coming to terms with reality that they are losing this election. It is certain now in their minds that they are losing this election, and therefore are now actively involved in planning to frustrate a peaceful transition and handover of power to the next government, the UPND Alliance. And that is the reason why you have seen that in the last 1 week or two, there have been heightened propaganda by the rank and file of the Patriotic Front, talking about political violence every single day, accusing and blaming the same on the Upnd alliance, when the violent party in Zambia is known. Those that have committed acts of violence that are unprecedented. For instance, the Law Association of Zambia was having a discussion forum on Bill 10, where the Patriotic Front unleashed cadres at Intercontinental Hotel to go and disrupt that discussion program, beating up people. Was Upnd present? So the people of Zambia know the violent party, it's PF, and that's the reason why Zambians are saying we are fed up with politics of violence, with politics of cadarism. We have also seen heightened talk of militia, that the Upnd have a militia group, they are organizing militia group, which of course Zambians know that it is false. It is the usual propaganda of the Patriotic Front, which has remained the only instrument of engaging the citizens of this country, lying through their teeth, telling lies day in, day out, so that unsuspecting citizens may think that what they are saying may have some iota of credence. It is not true. We have seen of late heightened hate speech, tribally inclined sectarian statements made to divide the nation and promote disunity. All this is being orchestrated to try and promote, in the sense and minds of the people, an anticipated political instability going on into the election, so that they can feed on the same to justify whatever action they think required to be taken to remain clinging on to power, including using our security and defense forces, claiming and in the name of saying they are restoring law and order in the country. We want to urge the Patriotic Front to veer off those maneuvers. And at this point, we call upon senior citizens, those who have lost an election before, like President Rupia Banda, to step in and talk to President Edgar Chagwa that he will not remain president for life. At some point, he has to leave office. And as things stand now, is bound to leave office come 12 August 2021. The Patriotic Front has had occasion and opportunity for 10 years to showcase their capabilities and what they can do for the people of Zambia. They have indeed showcased what they are capable of doing, and that amongst the top priority on the list of what they have managed to showcase as what will anchor their legacy is: number one, unprecedented corruption; number two, collapsing the economy, collapsing the kwacha, rising cost of living, rising unemployment, young people graduating from institutions of learning, no jobs, some even a decade. Those who get unemployment, they plunge themselves into poor conditions of service. Those who retire, they remain unpaid for many, many years. Yet this same government now wants to talk about a debt swap to give relief to civil servants who are in employment, when they are failing to give relief to those who have already worked for their money. What deception because of this election. And we are glad as Upnd Alliance to note that the civil servants have rejected this debt trap, which the Patriotic Front are calling a debt swap. They have seen through this as a mere political gimmick that is meant to woo support so that they can get a vote. In the similar manner they lied in 2016 that bus operators would be exempted from presumptive taxes, even fuel prices. The nation, we are told, would be reduced. Immediately after the elections, we went to the status quo. This is what is happening. We want once more to reiterate our thanks to the Bankers Association of Zambia for coming out in the open to reject this political maneuver of deception, where government wanted to act as like a voucher fund in order to mislead the citizens of this country. So going forward, therefore, we want to urge President Lungu to move away from any advice from anyone that he can cling on to power using underhand methods. Patriotic Front came through the open door of democracy. They did not come through violence. They came through a peaceful election through the ballot. We want to insist that this tradition of keeping must be kept in keeping with democratic tenets, so that we hand over a government that is anchored on democracy to the next generation for many years to come, so that we continue to be celebrated as pioneers of democracy in the region. So these maneuvers that have been put in place, we say no to them, and we do resist the same, and we shall do everything humanly possible that is lawful to resist such maneuvers, regardless who is involved. Finally, we have seen maneuvers to deploy soldiers in some parts of the country, in some towns. We have had this information for the last 3 weeks that this was the intention of government to deploy soldiers in various towns. Our question is there a necessity so to do? Because we think that presently, this election, although there are flashpoints of violence, it has gone better than many doomsayers had predicted, that 2021 will be a bloodbath election. It hasn't gone that way. There are flashpoints of violence which we condemn in the strongest terms, regardless of who is involved. We abhor violence, and no one should be able to see, our country, turn violent while they sit and watch, because sometimes bad people are not just those who do bad things, but those who watch others do bad. So we think that presently there is no security situation in the country that would require deployment of soldiers. It doesn't exist. Zambia police is well equipped, in fact over equipped. They have bought an array of artillery to deal with any possible delinquency, social disorder. Why is Zambia Army rushing? Why is the Zambia Army commander rushing to jump in to say we are ready to move in to help Zambia police be able to maintain peace? We know, of course, that the mandate of the Zambia Army includes maintaining the peace of the nation, but their primary role is to maintain the territorial integrity of Zambia, defending Zambia from both local and international threats. Presently, there is no local threat that would warrant the Zambia Army commander to promise the nation the readiness of the Zambia Army to move in to deal with its citizens. But we want to contextualize this, that the way we see it is that if in the eyes of the army there is a requirement so to do, the citizens should not be moved. In fact, it will be a move that we believe could be necessary to stop Patriotic Front thugs to maraud themselves around polling stations. These soldiers, we know, are suffering like anybody else. They are civil servants. We know that the top-ranking officials of many of our departments of government, including those providing defense and security to this country, those that are presidential appointees, We know that they are enjoying better lives. And we are also aware that their hands are tied because their security of tenure is dependent on the appeasement of the appointing authority. But Zambia Army has a reputable tradition of being professional, both locally and internationally. To an extent, even the UN recognizes the professionalism of the Zambia Army. And therefore, we believe that even if they were deployed on the streets of the Zambian towns, they are going to maintain their professionalism the way we know them. We do not think that a political party that has lost popularity, that has lost the favor of the people of Zambia, that has lost the confidence of the people of Zambia, should make the people of Zambia and the international community now lose the confidence in the professionalism of the Zambia Army because of politics. We continue to praise and applaud the Zambia Army for being one of the most disciplined militaries on the continent and on the globe. We want that tradition to go on. And when the UPND alliance comes in, you will definitely be able to get better conditions of service than you are presently getting. Because now only a clique of the top brass is enjoying. Many officers in Zambia Police, Zambia National Service, Zambia Army, the intelligence, they are suffering like anybody else. And therefore, to the citizens, if we reach that stage where army are deployed, don't fear to go and vote. That is a Zambia Army. It is not a PF Army. We have seen before, even during COVID pandemic, the government released Zambia Army to go to the streets, and they manned many streets, especially in Lusaka. Across the country, Zambia Army were deployed. Did we stop moving around because they were carrying guns against COVID? No. Now, if this time they are deployed and we know we want to go and vote to change a government, we should not fear. They are not there to stop anyone from going to vote. They are there to maintain law and order, to assure you of your security. We trust, we have confidence in them. We believe they would like that this election should just be one of the elections, but not one which changes the standing, integrity, and demeanor, professionalism of the Zambia Army because of this election. Finally, to our citizens, we call on you, each one of you, to maintain peace. To maintain peace, because this election, like other elections, should be about uniting a people and a nation and not dividing a nation. Do not listen to doomsayers, those who have been given helicopters like Chishimba Kambwidi to fly from one place to another, preaching and evangelizing tribalism. Here we are in Mkushi. We have moved around many places. Ordinary people are even surprised about tribal talk. They are concerned about the state of roads here in Mkushi. They are concerned about the price of farm produce, maize. They are concerned about their children not getting employed. They are concerned about access to health facilities, to hospitals, to clinics. They are concerned about not finding medicines at hospitals and clinics, that when they go there, they are given a prescription, at best Panadol. They are concerned about food on the table. They are concerned about the cost of living. These are the issues that must inform the discussion around which should inform these elections. People are still asking, what about gassing? Who gas the nation? These are the issues. Not if you are kapatura, if you are. So we are very confident to perform very well. We want to thank the people of Mkushi for receiving us so well. Honorable Chisanga and your team. And what we have seen on the ground is truly amazing. I think that it would require quite some heroic acts of epic proportions to uproot the UPND alliance, both in Mkushi South and Mkushi North, this far from what I have seen. And I will be able to report to the leadership that those seats are guaranteed. The only thing remaining is to safeguard the votes so that people who have lost votes should not begin to add numbers that do not exist. Colleagues, because of time we are constrained, we have to end here. Thank you very much for coming. To our dear colleagues from the media, I'm sure we are still around for a few days, although we are heading up north. We hope to reach Mpika and maybe even other places. But before we do, we hope to have an engagement with yourselves so that we can also learn from yourselves and the community, so that some of the things we can learn from that interaction can inform our debate going forwards and our policy formulation in our quest to create a better Zambia for all, the Zambia we want. Thank you very much.
Just briefly, Honorable Chisanga, how has the campaign gone so far, and are we ready for 12? We've only got 14 days remaining.
Yeah, we are set, and we have done all the necessary at the ground. Then this morning I'm just from taking the guys, the polling agents, to do the job, the community job, those who are coming from the valley. So we are set. All the polling agents, we have made sure that all the stations, the polling agents are there. So for now, we could say we are set. Yeah, just waiting for the D-Day, 12th August.
Yeah, and let me just write on that statement Honorable Chisanga has just made. To urge all the candidates, all our campaign teams across the country, those working with polling agents, ensure that they are vaccinated, all of them. You have seen how this election is deliberately being made difficult. Have everyone vaccinated so that we don't have challenges on the day of polling. We want this election to be policed by the citizens adequately. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mweetwa, how do you look at the sudden appreciation of the kwacha? Do you think the kwacha at the current state that it is, will it be sustained after the election?
Yes, thank you very much. That is one issue we want to address in greater detail when we have time. But I can respond off cuff that even if I'm not an economist, there is no way the Zambian kwacha has been struggling for a very long time. Only to have this, it has to be understood, it's a marginal appreciation, which has been triggered, we are told, by the Bank of Zambia offloading a lot of dollar on the market in order to create a temporal, and fictitious equilibrium, as if things are beginning to work. If the kwacha was appreciating, the central bank or government should be able to tell us where have we gotten value, because when the kwacha appreciates, it should not be wishful. There must be value. What have we produced and sold to get more dollar? Have we produced more copper that we are now having better earnings so that we are offsetting the dollar insufficiency, balance in the economy? Have we exported maize? We have received dollar. What has happened? There is nothing that has happened. This is artificial. The Bank of Zambia has moved in to unleash, because people have to understand that when the kwacha is trading at 22 kwacha per dollar, it means there is insufficient circulation of the dollar in the market. So now, to try and bring the dollar to sublime levels, you have to push in more dollars by the Bank of Zambia so that those who are looking for dollar, they can access it cheaply. This is just playing a around with the law of supply and demand. That is what they have done. It is very, very artificial. There's nothing that they can attribute this to. And to the people out there, those who want to understand this appreciation, just go to the nearby shop or a cantemba. Go and buy a bottle of cooking oil today and see that if it will be made cheaper because of this marginal appreciation of the kwacha. Nothing. All the prices have remained static and they are bound to continue to rise. And in the next 2 weeks, once the election is over, this marginal rise is going to be wiped out, especially in the most unlikely event of PF retaining power, which I can't even dream of, because then there will be no Zambia. But you expect this marginal appreciation of the kwacha to hold if HH and the alliance wins, because then immediately the business community will trigger in investment portfolios into this country. They will look at this economy favorably, and those are the issues that people should be thinking about. That when you go to vote, are you happy with the status quo, or you are going to vote to change? And I think many people who went to stand on the queue for a very long period of time to get a voter's card, they were doing that to change Zambia because we want a better Zambia.